Good evening, and welcome to the Sleepy Scholar. Tonight, we drift into the mystery of dark energy and the question of how much time the universe truly holds. You lie beneath the sky, and before you stretches an endless canvas of stars. Each one glimmers, not only as a point of light, but as a memory of a place, a distance, a time. You breathe in, and you imagine the universe breathing with you. Your chest rises, the cosmos too rises. Your chest falls, the cosmos continues to expand, a slow rhythm that has no need for lungs, no need for air. The universe has its own pulse, one that unfolds, not in seconds, but in billions of years. As you drift into this thought, you sense that the universe is not a fixed stage where stars and planets play out their parts. Instead, the stage itself stretches. Imagine a balloon, the surface painted with dots. As the balloon inflates, every dot moves away from every other dot. None of the dots must run. The surface itself grows. In much the same way, galaxies drift apart, not because they are sailing through some larger space, but because space itself lengthens. This idea is both simple and enormous. When you let yourself feel it, your mind grows wide, as if the thought itself is expansion. You picture ancient astronomers gazing upward, not knowing yet that the constellations they charted were not anchored forever. The stars are steadfast for a human life, but across the canvas of cosmic time, they slide apart like grains of sand carried by an unseen tide. You linger with the thought of tides, for the universe does have its ebb and flow. In the beginning, expansion rushed like a flood, a burst of creation. Over time, gravity pulled back, as if the universe might settle. And yet, something unexpected happened. Instead of slowing, the stretching increased, a pace accelerating like the breath of a sleeper stirred by a dream. When you breathe, you feel the rhythm of your own body, heartbeat, breath, pulse. When the universe expands, it is as though space-time itself has a heartbeat, too slow for your ears, too vast for your eyes, but there, always, in the background. It is a rhythm scientists have traced, using the faint light of ancient stars, using the way galaxies retreat into distance. Imagine yourself floating far from Earth, away from its pole, adrift in darkness. All around you, galaxies hang like lanterns in a vast night. You notice that the farther away one lies, the faster it recedes. Like lanterns tied to a fabric that is stretching, their distances lengthen with time. The nearest still glimmers close, but the farthest drift at astonishing speed, riding a current you cannot see. You let yourself wonder, what is this current? What moves them apart when there is no wind, no water, no hand to push? Here, your mind rests on the edge of mystery. Scientists call this unknown force dark energy. The name is simple, yet it reveals little. It is not energy you can hold. It is not darkness in the ordinary sense. It is the word we give to the unseen breath of the universe. The reason expansion speeds up rather than slows down. You turn back, for a moment, to your own breath. Inhale, exhale, just as the air around you fills your lungs. Space itself fills with this hidden pressure. You cannot touch it, yet you live within it. You are part of its movement, carried along by its widening rhythm. In your imagination, you walk through a forest at dusk. The trees are tall, the air still, the light fading. Yet even as you stand, motionless, The space between trunks seems to shift, the shadows lengthen, and the silence deepens. Something changes, not in the trees themselves, but in the way the forest holds them. Dark energy is like this, an unseen adjustment of the frame, a widening of the stage. The actors are the same, but the stage grows ever larger. You may ask, how did we discover such a thing? The answer begins not with theory, but with light. Distant stars, exploding in brilliant finales called supernova, became markers. Astronomers measured their glow and their fading, their distance and their brightness. What they found startled them. These stars were dimmer than expected, farther than predicted, as if the universe had been rushing outward, faster and faster. The data whispered a story that contradicted expectation. The universe does not slow, it accelerates. You rest with this paradox. A universe filled with matter should pull itself together. Galaxies tug at one another with gravity. Stars bind solar systems. Planets pull at moons. Attraction is natural. Yet in the grand equation, attraction does not win. There is another term, another factor, something woven into space-time itself that resists collapse. Expansion is not only continuing, it is racing. Think of a lullaby, soft and repetitive. Over time, the rhythm can slow or quicken, depending on how it is sung. The universe is singing its own song, and the tempo has shifted upward. Each beat stretches galaxies further apart, and though you cannot hear it, can imagine it, a music written not in sound, but in the fabric of existence. You close your eyes. The universe continues its expansion, whether you watch or not. It is like the chest of a sleeper beside you, rising and falling through the night. You are part of that sleep, part of that breath. You drift deeper into the image. Every breath you take connects you to the elements formed in ancient stars, scattered by their explosions, gathered again into the soil, into water, into your own body. And those same stars were once closer to each other, drawn together by gravity, before expansion stretched their neighborhoods apart. Even your atoms carry the memory of that widening. You feel how the universe is both intimate and infinite. It breathes in you, and it breathes beyond you. The stars overhead are not fixed lanterns. They are travelers, carried by an expanding sky. You too are a traveler, though you do not move. You are carried by the widening itself, and yet you notice something more. This breath of the cosmos does not only stretch outward, it shapes time. If the universe expands, time itself unfolds differently. A second here is linked to the scale of everything. The clock of the cosmos ticks not like the clock in your room, but with a rhythm written in galaxies, in space, in expansion. You let this awareness settle like a soft weight. The universe has a heartbeat. You are within it. You are listening, and as you listen, a question forms, faint and unhurried. What is this whisper between galaxies? This unseen presence that urges them apart, faster and faster, across the endless night. You drift further from Earth now, carried not by rockets or sails, but by thought itself. The stars you once saw as scattered points of light now reveal their order, drawn into grand patterns of clusters and filaments. Between these gatherings stretches a vastness, an ocean of apparent nothing. To the eye, this space is blank. To the mind, it is filled with silence. Yet science tells another story. This emptiness is not absence, it is a presence, subtle but commanding. The galaxies themselves seem like islands scattered on a dark sea. They do not float still. They move. Their paths are not random, not accidental. Something in the darkness urges them apart. You watch as the distances lengthen, not through choice, not through effort, but through the insistence of space itself. It is as though the fabric of reality is whispering instructions, unheard but obeyed. What could such a whisper be? Scientists call it dark energy, but the name is no more than a placeholder, a way of admitting we do not know the language this universe speaks. You imagine leaning closer, pressing your ear against the silence between galaxies. Perhaps, if you could hear it, it would not sound like a roar, but a soft breath, steady and constant. This whisper is strange because it resists our expectations. You know gravity, the pull that binds your body to the earth, the same pull that keeps the moon circling, the same pull that gathers stars together. Gravity is a voice that says, "Come closer." Yet between galaxies, another voice rises. It says, "Move apart." It is a reversal of instinct, a tide that pushes instead of draws in. You picture a leaf resting on water. A breeze passes across the surface, too subtle to see, and the leaf drifts. To an observer, the leaf appears self-moved, but the true cause is the hidden current. In the same way, galaxies drift apart, not because they decide to travel, but because the current of dark energy spreads beneath them. You float among them in thought, and the scale overwhelms. Each galaxy is a realm of billions of suns, and yet the whisper moves all of them at once. Imagine the hush of a library where millions of pages turn in silence, and you begin to feel the scale. Every star, every planet, every particle participates in this widening dance. Yet this presence is not something we can hold in our hands or store in a vessel. Unlike light, it does not shine. Unlike matter, it does not press. Unlike air, it cannot be inhaled. Its action is its only evidence. The expansion itself is the footprint it leaves behind. This makes it elusive, but not less real. Your mind lingers on how scientists uncovered this truth. They did not see dark energy directly. They saw the effect it had on galaxies, on light traveling vast distances. It was like hearing a whisper, not with your ears, but by watching. The way leaves tremble on distant trees. Evidence, indirect yet undeniable. You rest in this thought, recognizing the humility it takes to name something unknown. Dark energy is not an explanation, only an invitation to wonder. It is a reminder that the universe still holds secrets that cannot be solved by force. Some truths must be approached with patience, like a puzzle whose pieces are scattered. Across the sky, now, you imagine yourself standing in a wide desert at night. The air is still. The stars above shimmer, yet they feel unreachable. All around you is space, empty and bare. Yet, as you stand there, you sense movement. From footsteps, not from wind, but from the desert itself, stretching beyond sight. This is the feeling of the cosmos, stillness that is never truly still. And within that stillness, the whisper continues. It has no beginning and no end that you can perceive. It does not call attention to itself, but everything you see is shaped by its presence. Galaxies would gather differently without it. Time itself might flow along another path. Even your existence is tied to its rhythm, though you never feel its touch. Dark energy reminds you that not all forces are loud. Not all truths arrive with thunder. Some reshape the universe without announcing themselves. Their power lies not in being seen, but in the way they alter what surrounds them. This thought settles over you like a soft layer of snow. The invisible can be the most influential. You begin to notice how the spaces between things matter. The silence between notes creates music. The pause between breaths restores the body. The dark between stars reveals the vastness of the sky. And so, the nothingness between galaxies becomes not empty at all, but the stage upon which expansion plays. What you thought was absence becomes action. As you move deeper into this awareness, a question lingers. If this whisper pushes galaxies apart, what does that mean for their futures? Will they drift so far that their light never reaches one another? Will every island of stars become alone, surrounded by widening oceans of dark? The thought is not frightening, but contemplative, like watching waves retreat endlessly from the shore. You do not need to answer tonight. It is enough to sit with the image, an invisible tide shaping everything, even across billions of light years. You are listening now, not with your ears, but with imagination. You feel the presence of that hidden current, and in its silence, you wonder, the whisper between galaxies does not end here. It carries you further, urging you to follow its story into the discoveries that first revealed it. The starlight that traveled across eons to tell us of a universe moving faster than expected. You begin this chapter by standing with the astronomers of the late 20th century, their eyes pressed to telescopes, their instruments tuned to catch faint glimmers across the dark. These men and women are not seeking anything extraordinary. They are repeating an old story. The universe expands, yes, but surely gravity will slow it down. Their work is to measure, to confirm, to refine. Imagine yourself with them on a mountain observatory. The air is thin, the night is crisp, the dome of the telescope swivels across the stars. You feel the hum of machinery, the click of shutters, the whir of computers recording data. Somewhere in the vast sky, a star is ending its life in a final outburst, bright, but so far away it looks no stronger than a dying candle. That tiny flicker carries a story from billions of years ago. These stars are called supernova, and for astronomers, they are more than fireworks. They are beacons. A special kind of supernova, known as type Ia, has a reliable brightness. Wherever it occurs, it burns with the same intrinsic light, like identical lanterns lit across the universe. By comparing how bright they appear from Earth with how bright they should be, astronomers can calculate distance. Supernova are cosmic yardsticks, rulers of fire that measure the expansion of space. You walk in thought beside these scientists. As they gather their measurements, each point of light is charted, each distance compared. The expectation is simple. The expansion of the universe, born in the Big Bang, should slow with time. Galaxies pull on one another with gravity. Their collective mass should break the outward rush. Like a ball thrown into the air, the universe should rise and then hesitate, perhaps even fall back in a grand collapse. But as the data fills in, something strange appears. The supernova are dimmer than expected. If they are dimmer, they must be farther away than they should be. The only way for them to be farther away is if the universe has stretched more than predicted. The ball has not slowed in its arc, it has accelerated upward. Pause here and breathe into that moment of realization. The astronomers check their instruments, their calibrations, their methods. Could it be error? They repeat their work, and then others repeat it again. Different teams, different telescopes, different skies, all finding the same answer. The universe is not slowing, it is speeding up. This is the discovery nobody expected. You let yourself feel the astonishment, as though the ground beneath you suddenly tilts and lifts. You thought you understood how the world should move. You thought gravity always wins in the end. But now you are shown a larger truth. Something else exists, something stronger on the grandest scales. The discovery reshapes everything. Imagine building a map of a continent only to realize the land itself is drifting beneath your feet. Imagine writing a story only to find the ending has already changed. This is what the astronomers feel. The universe has a future, unlike the one they imagined. And here is the wonder: the light that revealed this truth traveled across billions of years. A star's final blaze becomes a messenger, carrying news long after the star itself has vanished. You look up, and in that faint glow you read a story written before Earth had life, before oceans formed, before even your sun was born. To discover cosmic acceleration is to receive a letter written across eternity, opened only in the present. You reflect on how discovery so often begins, not with certainty, but with surprise. The astronomers were not searching for dark energy. They were searching for confirmation. Instead, the universe whispered another story, one that unsettled and expanded human understanding. It is a reminder that truth often lies in the places where expectations break. You consider the courage it takes to believe the data. When everything you thought should happen does not, the temptation is to dismiss it. Yet the astronomers did not turn away. They leaned into the strangeness, trusting the evidence more than their assumptions. In doing so, they uncovered the presence of a force that fills nearly 70% of the cosmos. You drift now into the implications. If the universe accelerates, its future stretches outward without limit. Galaxies that shine now may one day slip beyond our horizon. Their light will never reach us again. The sky, rich with stars, today may grow sparse in the far future. The discovery is not just about distant supernova. It is about the destiny of everything. Yet the mood is not despair, it is wonder. To know that you live in a moment when such truths are revealed is to feel woven into the universe's story. You are alive at a time when the cosmos speaks of mysteries deeper than imagination. Picture again the astronomers at their telescopes. They are tired, but their eyes brighten as the data unfolds. They are like explorers sailing toward familiar shores, only to find the coastline extends into unknown seas. The surprise is not a barrier, it is an opening. You feel yourself step into that opening too. The discovery becomes personal, not just scientific. It shows you that the universe is not a static place to inhabit, but a living process, evolving and reshaping itself. You are part of that process, carried along in its tide. As you rest with this awareness, you sense how discovery mirrors life. You expect one path, and then something new appears. It unsettles you, yet it also expands your world. To live is to be surprised, again and again. just as the universe surprised those who studied it. Now, you look forward. If supernova revealed acceleration, what else might reveal its nature? What other messages travel to us across the dark, waiting to be read? Already, astronomers turn to galaxies, to cosmic background radiation, to the shape of space itself, searching for confirmation and clues. The story does not end with one discovery. It begins there. In this quiet moment, you sense the continuity of knowledge. The past speaks through starlight. The present listens with instruments. The future waits with questions. You are connected to all three, suspended between memory and possibility. The discovery nobody expected is more than a scientific fact. It is an invitation to wonder, to listen, to remain open. It reminds you that the universe will never be exhausted of mystery. Every answer unfolds into a deeper question. And as you linger at the close of this chapter, you hear that deeper question forming. If the cosmos is accelerating, if something unseen is urging it forward, then what is this force? What is this unseen breath that moves all things apart, reshaping time and space itself? You rest within the thought of discovery, the astonishment of astronomers who saw the universe quickening. Now, you lean closer to the mystery itself. What is this force that refuses to be seen, yet changes the destiny of everything? You find that it does not announce itself as matter does, with weight and presence. Instead, it acts through space itself, tugging in a way that feels paradoxical, a push disguised as stillness. You close your eyes and imagine nothingness, a void, empty, without light or substance. Yet, in this void, something stirs. Not matter, not motion, but behavior. The emptiness stretches, as if space carries a preference to grow. You picture a fabric spread across a table. At first, it lies flat. The threads separate, not because they are pulled by hands, but because the cloth itself lengthens. This is the tug of nothing. It is not a tug toward a center, as gravity would be. It is a tug outward, expressed everywhere at once. You cannot resist it, because there is no anchor outside the fabric to hold it still. You live within the cloth, part of its weave. Astronomers and physicists describe this behavior with equations, but you do not need numbers to feel the wonder of it. It is like hearing silence after a song. The music ends, and in the absence of sound, the room itself seems larger. Space without matter stretches in the same way. Emptiness expands, as if emptiness contains its own momentum. You drift deeper into this idea, letting images guide you. Think of a still pond under the moon. Suddenly, a ripple begins, not from a stone, not from the wind, but from the water itself, deciding to widen. The circles spread outward with no source. No, 'cause you can touch. That ripple is like dark energy, not added from outside, but born from the medium itself. Scientists suggest that the energy of empty space is not zero. Even when you remove particles, even when you strip away light, something remains. A background hum, unseen but present. The equations of quantum theory hint that the vacuum seethes with activity, fluctuations that never disappear. Perhaps dark energy is tied to this restless vacuum, a remnant of the smallest scales made visible on the largest scales. As you picture this, you realize how remarkable it is that nothing can still hold influence. You are used to matter shaping the world. Stone builds mountains, water carves rivers, air carries sound. Yet here, the absence of all these becomes powerful. Nothingness is not void. It is a field of possibility, a fabric capable of movement. Your body relaxes as you think of yourself floating in that fabric. No weight, no direction, only expansion. On every side, you are a point in space, surrounded not by walls, but by widening. There is no wind in your hair, no current in your skin, and yet the distances increase. This is the experience of the cosmos itself, stretching in silence, carrying you with it. You reflect on how counterintuitive this is. The mind expects forces to pull. Gravity pulls you downward. Magnetism pulls iron to a magnet. Even the pull of thirst and hunger drives life to encounter a force that does not pull but pushes. Invisibly, across the entire universe, is to step into strangeness. And yet this strangeness is real. The galaxies obey it. The light of supernova revealed it, and the future of time itself bends to its influence. Consider for a moment the balance of opposites. Gravity pulls together. Dark energy spreads apart. Between them, the universe finds its path. For billions of years, gravity slowed expansion. Galaxies grew, stars formed, clusters gathered. Then, at some tipping point, the influence of dark energy became stronger. Expansion overtook attraction. The universe entered a new era, an era defined not by gathering, but by dispersal. You pause with this thought, letting it flow like breath. The world around you is built from gathering. Atoms forming molecules, molecules forming cells, cells forming bodies, bodies forming societies. And yet, beyond your immediate life, the grander tendency is dispersal. The universe as a whole prefers widening. It is as though the cosmos itself has shifted its rhythm, choosing separation over embrace. The tug of nothing is subtle, but it has a destiny. If it continues, galaxies will move farther and farther apart. Stars will drift beyond one another's light. The sky of the far future may contain only the faint glow of the nearest cluster, with all else dissolved into unreachable distance. This is not an end you need fear tonight. It lies trillions of years ahead. Yet knowing it reminds you of scale, of how your life is a note in a symphony that stretches across unimaginable time. And so, you begin to listen for rhythm. If dark energy is real, does nothingness beat with its own pattern? Perhaps it is not a rhythm you can hear, but a rhythm you can imagine. The steady widening of space, measured not in seconds, but in the silent separation of galaxies. The cosmos expands, not with haste, but with persistence. It does not falter. Its measure is infinite patience. Your mind settles into this patience, and you sense its calm. Dark energy is not violent. It does not tear. It spreads, soft and steady. A widening that requires no effort. It is the backdrop to all existence, present everywhere, at every moment. To lie within it is to rest in the certainty that space itself holds continuity. And yet, the thought leaves you with wonder. If nothing pulls apart, then what is the nature of that nothing? If emptiness expands, then is it truly empty at all? These questions are not puzzles to solve tonight. They are invitations to linger in mystery, to allow the unknown to soothe you rather than unsettle you. You drift at the edge of thought, sensing that the tug of nothing leads to deeper reflections. If space itself can act, can time itself be shaped? If emptiness can grow, can time stretch as well? You feel the next question rising, quiet but persistent, waiting to unfold. You have drifted with the fabric of space, sensing how nothing itself can widen. Now your awareness turns toward time, that companion which has carried you since birth. Time is so familiar that you rarely notice it, yet here, in the presence of expanding space, its flow feels less certain. You begin to ask, if the stage of the universe is stretching, what happens to the rhythm of the play unfolding upon it? You imagine time as a river. For most of your life, the river feels steady. Seconds drip forward like drops. Minutes collect into pools. Hours glide into currents. You measure them with clocks, but the clocks are only reflections of the deeper stream. Every breath, every heartbeat, every thought is shaped by its waters. But when the riverbed itself widens, what becomes of the flow? Dark energy does not only shape where galaxies move, it reshapes the pace at which the cosmic story is told. It is as if the current of time adjusts to match the stretching of space, binding the two in an endless embrace. Space and time are not separate travelers. They are two strands of one fabric, pulling and swaying together. You pause and listen inwardly. Your heartbeat counts seconds within your chest. Yet, in the background, there is another pulse, slower and immeasurable. It belongs not to you, but to the universe itself. Physicists speak of cosmic time, a measure that does not depend on where you are or how you move. This is the grand clock that ticks for galaxies, for stars, for the evolution of all things. In the earliest epochs, this clock ticked in a universe where gravity slowed expansion. The flow of time was shaped by gathering, by formation. Now, under the reign of dark energy, the cosmic tempo changes. The widening accelerates, and with it, the story of time takes on a new trajectory. Imagine a metronome where the beats are not constant but spread farther apart with each swing, a rhythm leaning toward eternity. Your mind drifts toward the stars. Each one is itself a clock, burning fuel at a predictable pace. The life of a star is measured in billions of years, its rise and fall as steady as a pendulum. But dark energy places all these smaller clocks inside a larger system whose rules are shifting. It is as though the universe's grand pendulum refuses to slow, instead swinging wider and wider, carrying everything with it. You reflect on your own perception of time. Sometimes a moment stretches, an hour feels endless. At other times, a day vanishes like smoke. This subjectivity is part of being human, bound to emotion and attention. But cosmic time is different. It is impartial, woven into the structure of space-time itself. To imagine dark energy altering this vast, impartial rhythm is to glimpse how delicate, yet how profound, the nature of time truly is. Think of a great clock tower standing in the center of an ancient city. Its bells ring across centuries, marking hours for generations who come and go. For most of its life, the clock's gears turn at one pace. But then, without warning, the gears begin to move faster, the intervals between chimes stretching differently than before. The citizens may not notice at first, but slowly the pattern shifts, and history itself follows. A new beat. That clock tower is like the universe under dark energy. its machinery altered, its rhythm leaning toward acceleration. As you rest in this vision, you begin to sense how vastness and intimacy intertwine. The seconds you feel on your wristwatch are echoes of the same time that rules galaxies. The difference is scale, not essence. You are a local ripple in the grand river. When dark energy shapes the course of that river, you too are part of its turning. There is a question hidden in this thought. If expansion continues without end, what becomes of time itself? Will it stretch into infinity, offering endless beats, or will it lead to a horizon where meaning fades? Cosmologists describe possible futures. A universe that grows colder and more isolated, where stars burn out and galaxies slip forever beyond sight. In such a future, time still flows, but its rhythm feels lonely, like a song played in an empty hall. Yet here and now, in the present moment, you do not feel loneliness. You feel the extraordinary unity of belonging to this grand clockwork. Every second of your life is synchronized with the expansion of the universe. Even as galaxies drift apart, you are bound to the same unfolding. You live inside forever's machinery. You imagine holding an hourglass. The grains of sand fall at a steady pace, but the frame of the hourglass itself expands as you watch. The sand falls, yet the container changes, widening with each instant. This is the strange situation of cosmic time. Events unfold normally within galaxies, while the larger frame keeps enlarging. Both truths coexist, just as your life unfolds within the ordinary flow of seconds, even as the universe stretches beneath it. You close your eyes and let this paradox wash over you. Time is at once intimate and immense. You feel it in your pulse, yet it belongs also to the silent expansion of billions of galaxies. Dark energy does not erase the seconds of your life. It writes them into a larger rhythm. You are a verse within a poem whose lines reach beyond comprehension. As you rest on this thought, you sense a still deeper mystery. Why should time have a direction at all? Why should it move forward, carrying past into present, present into future? Dark energy ensures that this forward flow does not slow, but quickens on the grandest scales. Yet the very fact that time moves one way and not another remains a riddle. It is as though the universe is a clock with gears whose design we can observe but not yet fully understand. You breathe slowly, letting yourself drift into this awareness. The clockwork of forever ticks on, not with noise, but with presence. Every second that passes is a gear turning, a wheel advancing, part of the machinery that has existed since the dawn of creation. To be alive now is to hear those silent gears turning through your own heartbeat, to feel the rhythm of forever in your own breath, and still the question lingers. If space and time are one fabric, and if space expands with a hidden energy, then is time itself expanding with it? Does the clock of forever stretch into an endless horizon, or is there another layer still hidden from view? You float now in a space that feels like a ledger, as if the universe itself is keeping records. Every galaxy, every atom, every flicker of radiation is entered on one side. On the other, the unseen, the unmeasured, the mysterious. You realize that to understand the true shape of reality, you must know not only what shines, but what hides. Astronomers once thought light would tell the whole story. After all, Stars glow, galaxies burn, nebulae shimmer, telescopes widened. Humanity's eyes, capturing radiant histories written across billions of years. But when the numbers were added up, a startling imbalance appeared. The light was dazzling, but it did not weigh enough. Something invisible had to tip the scales. Begin with the matter, you know. Every breath you take contains atoms, tiny cores of protons and neutrons wrapped in electrons, buzzing like planets around suns. These are the building blocks of everything you see. Your hands, the trees, the oceans, the air itself. Yet, in the universe, this ordinary matter is rare. Only a small fraction of the cosmic ledger is filled with such familiar entries. You picture an ocean stretching endlessly. Upon its surface, delicate foam collects, translucent, fleeting, shaped by the waves beneath it. That foam is ordinary matter, exquisite but sparse. Beneath it lies a vast depth unseen to the naked eye. Scientists gave a name to part of that depth: dark matter. It does not shine, it does not absorb, it does not scatter light, but it reveals itself in the way galaxies spin. Without this hidden mass, stars at the edges of galaxies would fly away, flung loose by their speed. Instead, invisible gravity holds them in orbit, as though a hand both vast and unseen steadies them. You imagine walking through a forest at dusk. You cannot see the air, but you feel its pressure, its motion. In the same way, dark matter cannot be seen, but it is sensed. It surrounds galaxies like halos, shaping their forms, guiding their growth. Without it, the grand patterns of the cosmos would never have formed. And yet, even dark matter is not the majority. There is a still greater entry on the ledger: dark energy. Where dark matter binds, dark energy drives apart. One gathers, the other expands. The cosmos balances between the two, a dance of holding and releasing. Light and matter are present too, but in this dance they are mere ornaments, sparks at the edge of a deeper fire. You pause and consider the proportions. Out of the total contents of the universe, ordinary matter, the atoms of stars, planets, and people, makes up less than 5%. Dark matter accounts for about 27%, and the rest, nearly 70%, is dark energy. You live in a universe where the majority is unseen, where the familiar is not the rule but the exception. There is a strange comfort in this. You are small, yes, but you belong to something immeasurably vast. The very atoms of your body are the rarest notes in a symphony otherwise composed of hidden harmonies. You are a bright chord struck in the silence of shadow. Consider light itself. Every photon travels outward, never tiring, never aging, carrying information across unimaginable distances. Yet, compared to the volume of the cosmos, the contribution of light is like the glint of a single fish in a dark, endless ocean. Its presence is spectacular, but its weight is nearly nothing. The balance of the universe is not held by what shines, but by what remains unseen. This truth reshapes your understanding of darkness. Darkness is not absence, but presence. A presence of matter and energy whose forms elude your eyes. When you stand beneath a night sky, you see the punctures of stars in the fabric of black. But that blackness is not emptiness. It is the stage upon which the majority of reality stands. Astronomers often speak of the cosmic budget, a way of allocating percentages to the known and the unknown. It is humbling to learn that most of the budget is spent on mysteries. Human beings live, work, and dream on an island of light within a sea whose depths remain undiscovered. This does not diminish the island, it makes it miraculous. You close your eyes and feel this balance. Light flickers in one hand, shadow hums in the other. Neither is complete without the other. The beauty of a star is heightened by the dark field surrounding it. The expansion of the universe is shaped by the competition between gathering dark matter and dispersing dark energy. The cosmos is not a kingdom of light overcoming darkness, nor of darkness extinguishing light. It is a ledger where both sides are essential, where wholeness emerges only in balance. Think of music. The notes are important, but so are the pauses between them. Without silence, melody is only noise. Without darkness, light would lose its meaning. The universe is written as a score where both resonance and rest play equal roles, where seen and unseen harmonize in a composition stretching across billions of years. As you drift deeper into this meditation, another image comes, the scales of a balance. On one side lies matter, bright and heavy. On the other side lies dark energy, invisible yet vast. The scales tip not in favor of the visible but the hidden. Still, both sides remain part of the whole, each defining the other. What does this mean for you? You, a being made of ordinary matter, are a rare form of the cosmos. You are foam on the surface of an endless sea, yet the sea gives rise to the foam. Without the unseen depths, you would not exist at all. You are a child of rarity, shaped and sustained by the majority you cannot touch. In this thought, humility and wonder merge. The universe is stranger than the imagination once allowed, stranger than the brightest star suggests. The balance between light and darkness is not a battle, but a partnership. A structure that permits galaxies to bloom, stars to ignite, planets to cradle life. Without the unseen, there would be no seen. Your awareness softens into stillness. You are not separate from this ledger. You are an entry within it. Your atoms sparkle among the 5%. Your existence depends on the rest. 2. Live is to float upon hidden waters, carried by the currents of an unseen sea, and then a deeper question whispers. If the majority of the universe is invisible, what else remains uncounted? If light and matter are only surface foam, might there be layers even beyond dark matter and dark energy? Could there be chapters of the ledger still unread? You rest now in the thought that the universe is not only vast in space, but also vast in time. The stars above you are not fixed jewels, but actors moving through a play with scenes that unfold across billions of years. And as you watch, you realize that every play must consider its ending. The question rises like a tide. How will the universe conclude its story? This is not a question of tomorrow, nor even of the next million tomorrows. It is a question written in expansion itself. The universe grows, galaxies drifting farther apart, as though pulled by some hidden tide. The pace of that expansion is not steady. It accelerates, as if the cosmos has chosen to run faster with every passing age. The force driving this acceleration is dark energy, the same unseen majority that hums in the background of everything. You know, if dark energy continues unchanged, the universe's fate seems clear. Expansion will stretch space endlessly. Galaxies will slip away from one another until no light from them can ever reach across the widening gaps. To a distant observer, the cosmos will appear emptier with each passing era, like a fire slowly fading to embers and then to ash. Stars will burn their fuel and go dark. Black holes will remain patient and cold before even they evaporate over unimaginable spans of time. This vision is called the heat death, where everything spreads so thin that no spark remains to kindle change. You picture it like a piece of music that does not end with a crash of drums, but with a note stretched so long and so faint that it dissolves into silence. A conclusion not sudden, but eternal. But the cosmos allows for other stories. Perhaps dark energy is not constant. Perhaps it shifts, like wind changing its direction. If it grows stronger with time, the expansion would not merely continue, but escalate into something violent. Galaxies would not just drift apart. They would rip away faster than bonds can hold. Stars would lose their planets. Atoms would tear apart, even the smallest particles unbound. This is called the Big Rip, where every structure of reality unravels under relentless acceleration. You imagine a tapestry woven with infinite care, only to feel its threads pulled until no pattern remains. It is an ending both dramatic and strange, an undoing of all that ever formed. Yet there is another path, less about tearing apart and more about falling inward. If dark energy weakens, if gravity one day takes the lead, the universe might reverse its course. Expansion could slow, halt, and then collapse. Galaxies would rush together, stars converging, matter heating into a final blaze. In this vision, the cosmos ends as it began, in a single point, dense beyond measure. This is the Big Crunch. A long exhale after an even longer breath. You drift between these fates like a dreamer moving from one vision to the next. The heat death, slow and endless. The Big Rip, fierce and consuming. The Big Crunch, cyclical and final. Each is an interpretation of the same symphony, depending only on how dark energy behaves, on whether its hand pushes forever outward or one day relaxes its hold. For now, observations suggest expansion continues to quicken, leaning the story toward heat death or rip, but certainty is far away. The universe writes in ink you cannot yet read, and so you are left with possibilities, suspended in wonder. You find yourself comforted by the thought that endings, even cosmic ones, are not immediate. The stars you see tonight will burn for billions of years more. Galaxies will continue their dances long after Earth's mountains have crumbled. Whatever fate lies ahead, it unfolds so slowly that your place in the story is more about the present moment than the distant conclusion. And yet, the question lingers. What is the meaning of a universe with such endings? Some imagine heat death as a kind of stillness, not emptiness, but rest, a cosmic sleep where all activity has been spent. Some view the Big Crunch as a possibility of renewal, that a new universe might emerge from the ashes of collapse, a cycle repeating without end. Others wonder if the Big Rip is not destruction, but transformation, a return to some form of energy too subtle for us to picture. You rest in the awareness that all endings, like all beginnings, are part of one story. A river does not grieve its ocean. A flame does not mourn its smoke. Each transformation is simply the next line written in the book of existence. There is also the thought that perhaps endings are not truly endings at all. If the cosmos collapses into a point, could that point ignite again, sparking a new expansion? If it stretches into silence, could unseen forms of order emerge from the stillness? Time itself may have cycles beyond what you can now imagine. You listen to the beat of your heart and notice how even within you, beginnings and endings mingle. Each breath finishes, but another follows. Cells die, and new ones take their place. The story of life is woven from countless small conclusions that make space for continuations. Perhaps the universe is no different, its fate written not in a single ending, but in an endless pattern of change. In this thought you find rest. You do not need to know which fate is chosen. You only need to feel the rhythm of expansion, the way time stretches into mystery. You are part of a universe in motion, and motion itself is a kind of promise. The stars above you burn with their own short lives. Galaxies spin, bound by dark matter's unseen hands. Dark energy presses outward, shaping destinies. You are a witness to the present, and that witnessing is enough. The future may be heat death, or rip, or crunch, or something beyond any of these. What matters is the awareness that the story continues, with or without you, and that its unfolding is vast enough to cradle every possibility. And still a question arises, one that does not fade. If the universe has a fate, written in expansion, then what about the edges of what you can see? What about the horizons that mark how far your gaze can travel before it fades into the unknown? You rest in the thought of expansion, of galaxies drifting apart. When another realization begins to rise, not everything can remain within reach. There is a distance beyond which the universe keeps its secrets, a boundary drawn not in stone or light, but in time itself. This is the cosmic horizon, the edge you cannot cross. Imagine standing on a vast shoreline. Before you stretches an endless sea. Waves roll in, carrying stories from far away. But not every wave can reach you. Some are swallowed by the deep, too far to travel across the expanse. The cosmic horizon is such a shoreline, a border where light itself cannot complete the journey to your eyes. In the early universe, everything was closer. Light could travel more freely across the smaller stage of space. But as the cosmos expands, that stage grows. Galaxies are carried away by the stretching of space itself. Beyond a certain point, they move faster than light can bridge the gap. It is not that they speed through space like rockets breaking limits. It is that space itself swells between you and them, widening the distance faster than any messenger can run. From your vantage, on Earth, this creates a kind of horizon, an ever-retreating boundary, marking the farthest light you will ever see. The glow from galaxies beyond that boundary will never reach you, no matter how long you wait. Their stories are written, but the pages are sealed. Drifting out of the book, you are allowed to read. You pause to imagine those unseen galaxies. They may shine with suns and worlds, with collisions and births, with beauty and destruction, but they slip away beyond recall. Their light stretches as they recede, waves lengthening until visible starlight becomes faint radio murmurs, and then even those whispers fade. It is as if the universe is dimming lamps one by one, until only a small circle remains illuminated around you. This is not cause for sorrow, but for wonder, for it means the universe is larger than knowing. No mind, no instrument, no journey can claim all of it. There will always be more beyond reach, an endless reserve of mystery. And mystery has a softness that soothes, because it means you need not hold everything. You can rest in the presence of the unknown. Think of the horizon you see on Earth. When you look across the ocean, the horizon seems like a boundary, a place where water meets sky, but if you sail toward it, the line retreats. It is never fixed, always unfolding. The cosmic horizon behaves the same. It is not a wall, but a retreating line, always moving farther as the universe expands. You may wonder, does this mean you live forever within a shrinking island of visibility? The answer is yes. With each passing era, fewer galaxies remain in the circle of what can be seen. There is a term for this, the cosmic event horizon. Just as a black hole has an event horizon beyond which nothing escapes, the universe itself has one beyond which light will never cross to you. It is not darkness closing in, but rather distances widening too quickly for bridges to hold. You close your eyes and picture the night sky you know. Each star you see lies within this circle, a neighbor close enough for its light to arrive. Beyond them, faint galaxies shimmer, visible through telescopes, and farther still, the cosmic microwave background hums, a relic light from the universe's first glow. But past that, beyond all horizons, lies silence, not absence, but unreachable presence. It is strange to realize that most of the universe is already beyond you. The galaxies you see are only a fraction of what exists. The majority are slipping away, carried by the accelerating tide. Some are already gone from view, their light no longer able to make the crossing. Others hover near the edge, soon to vanish into the unreachable. The circle of what you can witness shrinks, while the total universe grows without end. This might seem lonely at first, as though you are being left behind, but perhaps it is a different kind of invitation. To see the sky as a reminder of the preciousness of the now. The stars above you are not permanent. Their light is a fleeting gift, caught before it fades into distance. Each photon that reaches your eyes has survived a journey across time, crossing billions of years to arrive. To notice it is to honor that journey. The horizon you cannot cross reminds you that knowledge is never complete. It suggests a rhythm to existence. There are things you can see, things you can imagine, and things forever hidden, and in that rhythm there is peace. For what would it mean if you could know everything? If the universe offered no mystery? Mystery is the space where wonder lives, where imagination has room to breathe. As you linger on this thought, you see the horizon not as a limit, but as a lullaby, a soft veil, singing that some things are meant only to be sensed in their absence. The universe does not withhold out of cruelty, but because infinity cannot be gathered into one grasp. You are given a circle to hold, and the rest remains. Beyond, like stars kept in reserve for other dreams. There is also something profound in realizing that even horizons change. Long ago, when the universe was young, the horizon was smaller. As time passes, it stretches. You live in a moment where the horizon shows a wide sweep of galaxies, a view far grander than early beings on Earth could imagine. To look up is to inherit a vision that took billions of years to form, a gift from the patient unfolding of space. The horizon you cannot cross becomes a mirror of your own life. You, too, live within limits. You cannot see all futures. You cannot recall every past. Your senses hold a circle, and beyond it lies what must remain unknown. Just as with the cosmos, your horizon recedes as you grow, offering new sights, then withdrawing them. You are not diminished by this, you are shaped by it. And so, resting under the stars, you let the mystery wash over you. You need not chase every vanishing galaxy, nor mourn every retreating shore. You are present in the circle of light given to you. And that circle is vast enough for awe. Still, a thought lingers like a soft current beneath the surface. If there is always more beyond reach, could it be that what vanishes is not lost, but connected in ways unseen? Could horizons be not endings, but beginnings of a larger fabric woven by rules you have yet to glimpse? You drift now from horizons to what lies within them. Though galaxies slip away beyond sight, the ones still visible form a pattern, not random, but woven. Spread across the heavens is a structure grander than any single star or cluster. It is the cosmic web, the hidden architecture of the universe. Imagine a spider's web stretched across the night, but scaled to unimaginable distances. The strands are made not of silk, but of galaxies, bound together into filaments that stretch for hundreds of millions of light years. Where strands cross, you find clusters, heavy knots of matter, holding thousands of galaxies within their embrace. And between the strands, vast hollows open, regions of near emptiness, where little light shines. This is the universe at its widest view, not scattered grains, but a tapestry, not chaos, but rhythm. You are looking at a network shaped by gravity, time, and the unseen presence of dark matter. The galaxies, stars, and planets are only the beads strung along invisible threads. The true weight of the web is hidden, carried by matter that does not shine, but pulls with steady force. When you close your eyes, you can picture it, luminous filaments glowing faintly, like fireflies tracing lines across a summer sky. The emptiness between them does not feel barren, but spacious, like deep breaths between notes of a song. It is in this balance, light against dark, presence against absence, that the cosmic web finds its shape. Long ago, the seeds of this pattern were planted. In the first moments after the universe's birth, matter was spread almost evenly, with tiny ripples of difference. Some regions were ever so slightly denser, others slightly thinner. These faint ripples grew over billions of years. Gravity pulled matter toward the denser regions, and expansion thinned the spaces in between. What began as whispers of fluctuation became the vast threads of today's cosmic web. To see this is to realize you live not in a scattered sky, but inside a grand design. Your own galaxy, the Milky Way, belongs to one filament. It drifts along a strand like a pearl on a thread, part of a local cluster that itself is part of something greater. You are inside the lacework, a single note inside a cosmic harmony. The scale is difficult to imagine. A filament might span 500 million light-years, longer than any chain of thought can hold. Between filaments lie voids so large that a beam of light would need hundreds of millions of years just to cross. And yet, when mapped, the structure resembles something almost organic, like neurons in a brain, or roots spreading underground. It is as if the universe carries echoes of patterns found in living systems, though on scales too vast for direct comparison. Dark energy threads itself through this structure, altering its fate. It pushes galaxies apart, stretching the filaments, loosening the knots of clusters. Over time, the web thins. Its strands lengthen, its intersections weaken. Galaxies within clusters remain bound together, but the bridges between clusters grow fragile. Slowly, the great network begins to fray. You listen for these changes as if they were echoes in a vast hall. Each cluster of galaxies, each strand of matter, hums with the weight of time. Though silent to your ears, the universe carries this rhythm. The tug of gravity, the push of dark energy, the slow unraveling of filaments. To imagine it is to feel the universe breathing, not in seconds or hours, but in eons. It is humbling to realize that emptiness itself is part of the pattern. The voids are not mistakes or absences. They are as essential as the filaments, giving shape to the whole. Without the vast hollows, the threads would not stand out. Without space to stretch, the pattern would not be seen. Even silence, it seems, has a role in the song of the cosmos. From Earth, astronomers map this web using telescopes that peer across time. They gather the faint light of galaxies, stitch it together, and trace the outlines of filaments. The maps reveal arcs and chains, sprawling bridges of galaxies, and enormous walls of matter. You are shown not just a collection of stars, but the skeleton of the universe itself. And still, most of it remains hidden. The luminous beads are only a fraction of the mass. The invisible dark matter carries the weight, and the dark energy shapes the space in which it floats. You can imagine the universe as a painting where the brushstrokes you see hint at colors beneath the canvas. The visible web is only the outline of something deeper, something you can sense but not hold. As you linger on this vision, you notice how the cosmic web resembles memory itself, just as thoughts connect in networks, with some nodes stronger and some paths fading, so galaxies connect in filaments and voids. Both are patterns of presence and absence, of connection and silence. The universe is not unlike a mind, sprawling, unfinished, always evolving. Perhaps this resemblance is only metaphor, but metaphors, too, carry truths. They remind you that you are part of the same unfolding fabric. Your atoms were once scattered across space, drawn together by the same forces that shaped filaments. You are not separate from the web. You are one thread among countless others. In the quiet of this thought, you return to the image of fireflies. Imagine them moving through night air, their brief sparks forming lines, their paths weaving patterns. Each flash is fleeting, but together they create a shape larger than themselves. The galaxies are the same. Their light may be brief, their lives finite, yet when seen together, they illuminate a design that seems timeless. The echoes of the cosmic web are not sounds you can hear, but patterns you can feel, if only in imagination. They are reminders that structure arises from silence, and that connection often hides beneath appearances. You rest in this vision of threads across the void, endless in scale, fleeting in detail. And as you breathe, you wonder if the universe is a web woven of light and shadow, then what lies in the spaces beyond it? What deeper fabric might hold even this vast design? You breathe, and for a moment the universe seems to breathe with you. Each inhalation is an intake of air that has passed through forests, oceans, and countless living forms. Each exhalation is returned to the world, joining the endless cycle of exchange. In this rhythm, you sense something larger, the pulse of the cosmos itself, steady and ancient. The thought rises, if you look out at the universe, could it, in some way, be looking back at you? The question is not one of eyes or faces, but of reflection. The stars you admire are not strangers, not entirely separate. They are kin. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, the oxygen in your breath. These were forged in the cores of stars, released in explosions that seeded galaxies long before Earth existed. When you trace yourself back through time, you discover that you are not only in the universe, but of it. Close your eyes and imagine the long journey of an atom of carbon. Born in the heart of a massive star, it waited until that star's life ended. In its final eruption, the atom was hurled into space, drifting through clouds of gas and dust. It joined other atoms, forming molecules, drifting through nebulae, until eventually it found its way into a cloud that collapsed into a newborn solar system. That atom traveled across eons, until one day it became part of a leaf, or a breath, or your very heartbeat. The universe does not merely surround you, it circulates through you. This realization is not abstract, it is intimate. Every star you see in the night sky is connected to you by this lineage of matter. You are a constellation in flesh, a mosaic of ancient light. When you look outward, you are, in a sense, looking at a larger version of yourself. And if the cosmos were to have a memory, it would remember you, because you are one of its own expressions. Think of how light travels. When you gaze at a distant star, you see it not as it is now, but as it once was. The starlight entering your eyes tonight may have begun its journey thousands or even millions of years ago. It crossed the gulf of space to meet you, carrying across that expanse the story of where it came from. The universe has spent ages sending these messages, tiny parcels of brightness, so that one evening you might stand beneath the sky and see them. In this sense, the universe speaks, and you listen. But listening changes you. Awareness transforms observation into connection. When you understand that the stars you see are your relatives, that their ashes are your own body, then to look at the sky is to feel recognition. The universe is not a stranger's gaze, it is a mirror showing you your wider self. You may wonder if this sense of reflection is only poetry, but physics, too, whispers the same. Every particle in your body obeys the same laws that shape galaxies. The forces that guide the dance of planets also guide the flicker of neurons in your brain. To exist is to echo the universe, to be a smaller version of its larger patterns. And so, when you become aware of this, it is almost as if the universe has turned its attention inward, through you, to see itself. Consider for a moment the surface of a pond. When the wind moves across it, ripples appear, distorting the reflections of the world around. The pond is not separate from its surroundings. It responds, it mirrors, it remembers in waves. In much the same way, your awareness is a ripple across the surface of the cosmos. To be conscious is to carry the reflection of the universe within a mind. In you, the cosmos has found a way to look back. This thought does not make you small. If anything, it makes you vast. For to be part of the universe's awareness is to belong to something beyond measure. You are not confined to your body or to your span of years. You are woven into a continuum that stretches from the first stars to the last. You are a witness, but also a participant in the story unfolding across billions of years. The flow of time becomes different when seen this way. No longer is it only a sequence of hours and days. Instead, it is a thread linking you to the distant past and to the distant future. You are held in the present moment, yet that moment carries echoes of the first light and hints of the last. Time itself feels less like a straight path and more like a web, with you standing at one of its crossings, aware of the strands that lead both backward and forward. And what of the future? You know that the cosmos is expanding. The galaxies drift farther apart. Dark energy, invisible yet persistent, accelerates this motion. Over unimaginable spans, more galaxies will slip beyond the cosmic horizon, their light forever out of reach. And yet, here you are, alive in this rare age, when the universe is visible, when the stars still sing across the dark. You are part of the brief window when the cosmos reveals itself to those who can notice. It is tempting to see this as a privilege, as though you were chosen, but perhaps it is more like a conversation. The universe offers its light, its patterns, its history written across the sky. You, in turn, offer your awareness, your capacity to wonder, your ability to translate stars into stories. In this exchange, the cosmos looks back through you, because your reflection is one of its own. Sit with this thought, letting it settle like starlight falling into still water. You are both observer and observed. The gaze goes both ways. You see the cosmos, and the cosmos, through you, sees itself. This reciprocity carries a kind of peace, for if you are not separate from the universe, then its vastness is not something to fear. It is something to belong to. Its future, though uncertain, includes you as part of its unfolding. You rest now in this awareness. The night sky, the stars, the galaxies, the filaments, and the voids. They are not far away. They are in you, and you are in them. Every breath is proof. Every heartbeat is resonance. You are the present moment of the universe, the place where its ancient story pauses to reflect upon itself. You rest in the thought that the universe does not stand apart from you. Its story is written in your atoms, its rhythm in your breath, its mystery in your wondering. And as the stars continue their slow burn, as space itself keeps stretching, you are carried along, not apart from it, but within it. The cosmos expands, and so does your quiet sense of belonging. Here, in this stillness, the universe looks back, and the gaze feels endless.